What up, everybody? It's your man, damednydc. Two mics up. Hey, it's Monday. We back again. Now, a couple of weeks ago on our live Wednesday night, you heard me kind of get on my soapbox just a little bit, talking about the upcoming midterm elections and how important it is that we really educate ourselves on voting, how to vote, what we should be looking for in candidates, not parties, and all of that thing. My little soapbox spiel. You might go back, check it out. But the reason why I bring that up is today, we have two amazing individuals who have been working on and developing an application that I think is really it can be a game changer, especially, and I was going to call it what it is in the Black and Brown community first, but really it also extends and expands on creating networks, conversation. Now, you guys, I like to tease, and you probably sitting there like, "Damn, okay, I don't know what the heck you're talking about," but I'm going to go ahead and bring these two fantastic individuals, and I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to, ladies first here, Johnathan. nothing against you, brother.
No worries, no
But
worries.
ladies first, Stacy, please take a moment, introduce yourself, what it is that I've been teasing about, and I'm going to let Johnathan follow up with introducing himself as well. So, Stacy, please take it away.
Hello, amazing people. Thank you for having us. I'm so excited. We are excited. So, Johnny and myself, we are co-founders of myBalbo, which is short for My Ballot Box.
Okay.
It's a free political social app for the next generation of voters. It fosters community engagement, encourages empowering discussions, and it provides real-time political accountability. So our motto is your vote, your voice, your village. Johnny and I are co-founder. We also have a sibling sister who's here in spirit. She couldn't be here today, so we are a family-founded company. So she says she's sending positive energy out to all the viewers.
Love it. I love it. So, Johnathan, please, my brother, please take a moment and just give us a little history about yourself and maybe take it a step further. Like, what role do you play within myBalbo and the organization as a whole?
Well, I am the official mascot of so a little bit about my background. It's really great. Stacy, Sarah, and I, we have a really wide variety of just occupational, professional, and personal experience that really led us to where we are now with the creation of myBalbo. Myself, I went to school for political science. Went to school up in New York at Columbia, and then went to DC, worked there for a few years, and then went back to entertainment for a bit. And now, with everything that was happening in 2020, my siblings and I, we got together and started really just talking about like, how can we affect change? Really, how can we affect change on a national level and really get people educated and activated 365 days, right? Not just during one weekend,
Right.
but all throughout the year. And so that's how myBalbo came to be. We asked our friends if they knew about their local elected officials, and people really didn't know, right?
Mhm.
So we thought that first, myBalbo in its first iteration would just be sort of a resource that streamlined all of your elected officials. But we came to sort of the understanding that to really move the needle in our country, we needed to create an ecosystem that's unlike any other ecosystem in the social media landscape that really made discourse and connection and conversation cool again, because we saw the sort of trajectory that our nation was going in, where people just didn't have conversations anymore, and we wanted to
Right.
create a space where people could have nuanced and really edifying conversations. So that's how myBalbo came to be.
Man, look here. See, this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So I had the pleasure of being introduced to Stacy and Johnathan, and this is what really Two Mics Up is all about at its core. Really talking about things that community based that has a far-reaching impact. We're really here. Our tagline is educate, empower, impact. And I think what myBalbo is doing is really doing all of those things. And I think just from the energy when we first all had the opportunity to talk. The conversation, the connection was great.
Mhm.
And I'm really proud to be able to have you guys on here talking about this application, because we are really trying to educate ourselves, because there's so many of us, like Jonathan so eloquently said, we just don't really have any idea where to start. A lot of times when you talk to people of color, like they have no idea outside of the president who's really impacting them, in their local politics, which is really probably more important than the grand scheme of things of who's president. But I have to ask then, when you really get down to it, I feel I have an idea of what the mission is or your goal really is behind the creation. But can you dive deeper in, Stacy, and really talk about, the mission, but where do you see that vision growing, maybe 3 years from now, 5 years from now with the app?
That's a really good question. We always say our trigger words is like we want to single-handedly disrupt and transfigure the political landscape by like motivating every American to vote. And this is by redefining what it means to be American, right? We want to
Mm-hmm.
empower them. We want to keep them engaged and mostly most informed and most effective.
Right.
And every day we're trying to push our mission out for that. For the first time in history, as we always say, every American will know to when to, where to, and how to, and most importantly, why they're voting in one
Mm-hmm.
streamlined location. As John said, it's disjointed. So if we would talk to our neighbors and friends and say, who's on your local school board or so forth, no one knew. And we started doing research and we realized that only 11% of Americans were knowledgeable about their politicians, only. And we're
Wow.
talking about 365 million people
Right.
across America, and 2/3 of Americans believe like social media has a negative impact on politics with hate noise, white speech, and so forth. And the
Mm-hmm.
really most important point was by 2024, the largest share of voters will be millennials and Gen Zs, and they'll be using their cell phones for political decisions and political content. So we
Mm-hmm.
said to ourselves, aha, most of these Gen Zs are not going to be on TV watching CNN or Fox News and CNBC and so forth. Who are they looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Influencers. The
Mm-hmm.
influencers is who they follow. They make their political decisions. So we said, like John said, let's think 365. Let's not only keep you informed and educated about who's representing you and how your views align with them. Let's also have a social forum in there. And this is where we have our roundtables and town halls. Town halls are specific to politicians. Roundtables is connect people within their local neighborhood or even across the nation. And this is for them to talk about anything that matters to them the most. And we have a feature, it's called Reach Across the Table. So what it does is push people to step out their usual echo chambers that you find like in other social media platforms will remain nameless. But what you can find is when you push that feature, it alerts everybody on the app when you're having a conversation about a certain topic, you're
Oh, wow.
inviting people, you want people with different views and values to come in and join the discussion. And so we say to ourselves, like, imagine like stepping into a round table, listening to a white conservative from Alabama talking to a black trans woman from New York, or Gen Z GOPs in your neighborhood redefining what their party looks like.
That is so dope. Like it is so awesome. Like because I think that's where a lot of, so we have the disconnect already. But now, it sounds like by having this, you're allowing people with different views to have open and honest conversations that others can participate in, which you really wouldn't have. A lot of times, we're kind of stuck in our circles in our own little world, in our own little bubble, and sometimes we're stuck in our ideology. Our beliefs are really sometimes familial, through our family
Mhm.
and things of that nature. So sometimes we don't really have the opportunity to step out and step across. So I love that about this app. It really drives and really creates conversation. It makes it happen. And I think that's really important. And I really hope that, people watching this really understand and really go, because I mean, obviously we're here about pushing the app in it, but I want people to really go try it out, see what it's all about, because that's how we learn and that's how, we evolve and grow, not only as a culture but as a community, but a society at whole. Because the fabric of our society really is at dire stakes right now after what we've seen with the last president and what's going on. But that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm curious, and John, maybe you can maybe start with this. I'm curious to know what kind of feedback have you been receiving as it relates to maybe the app and its features and functions I'm curious to know what that has been like for you. I see you smiling.
Yeah, well, you know what, Stacy and I and Sarah, we really are proponents of lean development. And what I mean by that is lean is sort of a terminology that means that you learn as you build. And so
Mhm.
you build sort of like an MVP, or you build out like sort of the minimum viable product. And as you're building, you're continuing to get feedback from people. So feedback and focus groups and beta testers, that's been a part of our makeup since the beginning of myBalbo, from its first iteration to where it is now. So we've had a lot of feedback throughout this process. We have invited feedback because it's really important for us to make sure that what we're bringing to the market is something that people really want, and it sort of
Mhm.
just speaks to the generation that we're trying to cater to. So we've had a lot of great feedback. We brought in everyone from baby boomers to Gen Zs to play with the app, politicians, everyday Americans, influencers, celebrities, all sorts of people, all walks of life, to come and play with myBalbo and see if when they come on myBalbo, they feel empowered, they feel effective, right? They feel like they can be as most engaged in politics as possible. And we've had great feedback. So we're really excited about really opening this up to the general public and really start to just see everyone across our nation really get all the tools that they need to be effective. So.
And I'm curious for you too, Steve. It's like, because have you kind of experienced the same thing, or um,
Yeah.
where are you really keen at though, or is there something specific that maybe you both are interested in hearing? Like, do you sometimes when you guys talk, are you both on maybe opposite ends of a conversation, and you may be curious to see what the populace may say based on, aha, Jonathan, I told you, like, is that part of it too? Like, are you curious also when it comes to that type of
The
feedback?
aha. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of ahas in this journey. We started this journey back in October of 2020. So, like,
Oh,
we're talking about 2 years. Actually, it's our
wow.
anniversary. This, I would think, is around this weekend. It's
Oh, right.
crazy. Yeah, it's a long time coming. And it's not easy being like a tech startup and a Black woman LGBTQ plus founded company. It's three of
Hmm.
us. So we're an array of many things put
Okay.
together. But we fortunately are efficient and we leaned on each other in this process. We didn't necessarily always agree, but the beautiful thing about having diversity of conversation and thoughts allowed
Hmm.
us to make what we make today, which is our minimal viable product. And we'll be live within the week. And that's amazing. So I would say there's a lot of ahas. There's a lot of let's try it out. There's a lot of let's, throw it out the window. It's a lot of those moments. But I can say this: it's not for the what we say.
The faint
Uh,
of heart.
The faint,
Faint of
faint of
heart.
heart.
There we go.
Mhm.
That's what I was. Not for the faint of heart. And I'm fortunate enough to have my brother and my sister as my co-founders in this journey. Because when you have those low lows, you have them to pick you up. And we realize, and we always realize, and our investors realize that our mission is bigger than us.
Yeah.
Whether we have a bad day or not, our goal is to impact people now in the United States and eventually across the globe.
I
So yeah,
love
that's
that.
what keeps us motivated. Yeah.
I love that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard about some of that, but I do think it's important that when we talk about this, I am interested to know about maybe some of the obstacles and challenges that you both, you all have had as a family. But before we get to that, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause.
Hmm.
I want to say thank you to my amazing advertising partners and sponsors here at Two Mics Up. They've played a huge role in our success with their support. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We'll be right back with this great conversation right after the break.
007.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back fresh out the break. You see these two lovely smiling faces, Stacy and Johnathan Celestine, if I'm correct, or Celestine.
You got it.
Celestin. Okay, I want to make sure I got it right. Y'all don't get it twisted here on two mics up. Now, if you guys haven't been listening, we're talking about a innovative, game-changing app, in my opinion, from what I've come to learn, what I've come to research and follow. And we were talking before the commercial. There's been a lot of highs, right? And I want to be fair and really anyone that's out here watching this, understanding we're all about success and we want to share that success. But getting to that point or building to that point, I'm curious to know some of the obstacles that maybe you guys found, faced, you know, getting to this point. And if you maybe you can just talk about it, because it could be financial, technology, or just formulation or coming to some form of agreement between you three, and how did that, all work itself out to where we are today? And I'll start with you, Jonathan.
Okay, awesome. Where do we begin? I think one of the things that is both a pro and a con is that the app in itself is innovative and it's something that is unique in the social media landscape. So with being as sort of dare I say, trailblazing as the app is, depending on how risk averse you are, that sort of will say if you will be interested or not interested in being a part of it as an investor. So with the whole fundraising journey that we were on, we've heard a lot of people who say like, this is a great idea. We need this. We absolutely need this, but but we're gonna have to pass until we can actually see that there's an appetite for it. And really? So as finding a cohort of investors, which we've been blessed to be able to find and cultivate, who have not only an appetite for this sort of investment, but also truly believe in the mission and believe in and have confidence in us and the product. It's been a great journey, and we're really happy that we've been able to find it. But it took a lot of calls, took a lot of emails, it took a lot of meetings, it took a lot of no's. But it's going to take a lot of no's before you get to that one yes. And oftentimes that one yes is the sort of thing that really changes what it is that the trajectory of your company. So.
Yeah, and I'm curious. Same question for you, Steve. Because as I see the smile and I see you shaking, but within your structure too, like working on one thing project, another, and maybe your sister working on another. And how did that work? And like you said, I know that the highs, the lows, the no's, the yeses, but how was that for you? Like, what did you, from your seat, experience going through the process?
So for me, I would just say I echo and agree with John's. Like probably fundraising is probably the most collective challenge that we had as a group. I know for me that this journey came from me coming from public sector, private sector, being really high regarded and up the food chain, and having to then make my focus and energy towards myBalbo. And what I mean by that is kind of letting go of my ego and realizing that, in order for this to, in order for us to get to the final goal, and there's many goals that keeps moving, I would say that, is I would have to let go of my former self. And that probably was the most difficult thing when we first started this journey to now, is you've always built this persona, these goals in life. And for me, I was in the government. I was the highest ranked African-American on the West Coast within Homeland. That was a big achievement for me. And then to suddenly be in a place where we're doing something great. I'm not making as much money because I can't work as hard if I want to do this, and like living a different lifestyle, but realizing it's a bigger purpose here that's at play. And then realizing too, in this position of having co-founders, which I am blessed to call my family, is to realize to sit back and let people lean in when they need to and lean out when I have to. And that's been a great, like when people hear of us, and my brother made a great point in a conversation we had just recently. He's like, people always shun about family and friends getting in business together. But I think, to me, I call it the big lie. Because the biggest organizations are family owned. Banks to oil companies, it's family owned.
Talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So like, it's an honor for me And for us, the fact that we can continue to grow into this journey as siblings, but as partners. So again, I wouldn't change anything thus far.
Yeah. And shout
I
out
love it.
to all the solopreneurs out there, because it's hard to build build something from an idea to an actual product. And it's been a blessing, I think, for all of us to be able to lean on each other. But a lot of people don't have that.
Yep.
So if you decide to go on the journey of venture, like some sort of goal, right? If
Mhm.
just make sure that you have people around you who can sort of help to keep you afloat when you get to those sort of ebbs and flows of the journey. Having people, a support group,
Mhm.
to really help see you through, it's important. I know for a lot of people, especially Black people, especially men, especially women. I think everyone
Everyone.
is sort of victim of sort of the idea that I'm okay. I don't need help. I don't need to talk to anybody. If I put my head down and just keep pushing, everything will be all right. And then you get to a point where you're completely depleted, and so you're running off of fumes. Your cup is not full at all, and you're overextending yourself. And so making sure that you have people, having rituals, whatever it is that helps to keep you full, it's really important. So just on that out there.
Look, all I'm gonna say is this here, Jonathan.
All right.
That part right, period. Period, bro.
Love it.
Look.
I like that.
We all
Yeah.
had to learn that the hard way, right? Because, like you said, I think it is. You both touched on it. It's the ego.
Mm,
This is my baby.
mm,
This is my project. Sometimes you only see it your way, and I'm talking about even here 2 mics up. I remember my wife saying to me like, "Look, you need some help, man, and you can't do everything because it's in your head.
mm,
You need to get that out to people who can help you,
Exactly.
mm,
and then when you get it out, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Trust that these people that you give it to are going to have your best interest. And again, though, like you said, so for me, it's this family. I've been blessed. My wife, yeah, first of all, this was her idea. I never thought 2 years ago that I'd still be doing. I would, first of
Nice.
all, would
Shout
never
out
thought I'd
to
be doing.
Vice.
You're right. Shout out to the wife, right? So she saw something that I did. But then, my daughter and my soon to be son in law, they jumped in, all the graphics and everything that goes on,
Oh, see.
so, and then that's my inner circle. When we sit down and we talk about ideas and things to talk about, I'm getting it from my circle and my team. Hey, this be a great topic. So it does, and it does make my life so much easier now. I don't worry about, booking, scheduling. I don't worry about graphics, social media, this, that, and the third. I can just focus on doing this.
Mhm.
And that's where the success lies for those. And like I said, I hear that when you guys talk, you have a very tight knit circle. And it's great that it's family. But I have to ask though, because if it's anything like me, and we just gonna talk, we just gonna sidebar for a second here.
Let's go.
Because I know it's gotta be difficult sometimes. Like when you with your family though, like some of your conversations gotta be a little rough, like
Mm-hmm.
because it's personal. And you gotta sometimes not like you cussing at each other, but you looking at each other. You know what that look means, Jonathan, right? When Stacy look at you a certain way, she cussing you out, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
And like, how do you guys kind of work through that though? Because sometimes I know it's got to be tough. Because I know it's been tough for me some days. So how do you guys work through that? And I'll start with you, Stacy.
Okay, cool. You know what? Yes, you would be a liar if you say you do not get frustrated. If anything, you get more frustrated with your family than you probably would
Yes,
a stranger.
right.
Um, I would say that we have been fortunate enough. We come from a single mother household, me, my
Mhm.
sister, and brother. So we sat together at kitchen tables. We ate together. We're very close. We talk to each other. And I think what it is there's a level of loyalty in that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And in that loyalty, there's a level of understanding, like accepting who John is as who he is today, as I am. And it's going like, hey, if we butt heads, and I was talking about the bigger purposes, that doesn't change that we have a mission, right? Doesn't change that people are relying for us to make an impact in their communities,
Yeah.
and across the nation. Like again, it's that ego pushing it to the side, taking a break or taking a beat. And like what John said, like, self-care, that is even with family, whether it's your family member or a friend you call a partner or a complete stranger, take a beat when you have to and then circle back. There's nothing I don't believe unless something is very atrocious that you can't get back from, right?
Right.
If I
Right.
disagree with something, I disagree with something, and we move on. And we've done really well with that. We always say, if you're mad more than 24 hours, let's talk about it. After that,
Right.
let's just keep it moving.
I
Yeah,
love that. So
yeah.
I'm also curious too. And John is laughing So that has to be a family story behind that. I'm gonna try to get that story offline. But I do want to ask for those really watching this and listening today, how can people, across our communities join the myBalbo movement, and how can they get involved? I think that's really important. Because I want people to really get involved with this, and how can they do that? And Stacy, please, Jonathan, I'm gonna start with the lady, the
Oh, no
sister here.
worries.
How can they get involved with the movement?
All right, so I'll talk about it externally, and then I'll kick it to John to talk about it internally, like
Okay.
you can do within the app to continue to connect. So I'll push everyone to go to our website, www.mybalbo.com. It's a beautiful site. You can sign up, called Join the Movement. We can keep you up to date on newsletters and so forth, what's happening with myBalbo and our partnerships. Also, you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter. It is at myBalbo, same handle. So you're good to go. Oh my God, you guys are quick. Um, and on that note, I'll kick it to Johnny to talk about internally how you can connect.
Yeah, internal, like inside, internal to the app.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, one of the great things about myBalbo is once you download it, we have already pre-recorded dozens of on-demand content. So even if you don't want to join a roundtable and speak up and talk or listen, we have like celebrities, influencers, and politicians who have already come onto the app to really to have these really amazing conversations, some really transformative conversations on our app. So once you download it, you'll get pinged, intermittently with like, hey, here's a new episode of Mi Gente en Mente, which is amplifying Latinx voices, or O Reality, which is amplifying LGBTQ voices, or GOP, which is amplifying conservative voices. What's really important with our app is like, irrespective of how you lean or your or where you come from, is that you come across a variety of different lived experiences that get pushed your way, and you get to really see really cool conversations that you wouldn't have normally seen. So myBalbo lets you stay connected and plugged in, not only with our app, but with the many beautiful colors that sort of make up our country. So
Look here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, something might be wrong with you, but this is something that you really need to get into and support. And this is not about color, race. This is about our process and really what it means to educate those who really don't know. They don't have an outlet to talk to. Jonathan and Stacy have talked about so many things, whether it be politicians, LGBTQ, whatever it may be, wherever you lean, it doesn't matter. I think this is important for people to really get involved and really have serious conversation. And that's what I love about the app. So before we close out today, we've shared the social media, but I just want to ask really quick, is there anything else that's coming? Because I believe you mentioned a release. But I want to make sure, can you share that? When it's going to happen? Is it coming sometime, mid-October, late October, November, just so people can go out and really go out and support and be a part of this? And Stacy, please.
Yeah, no, we will see. We're going to officially, publicly be live, not this Monday, but the following Monday. So within a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that I have that information. I'm going to put all that information in the notes. I want to thank you both for taking time out to sit with me and share your amazing story. I wish both of you and your sister and myBalbo nothing but the best, and nothing but success. If there's anything that's going on that you guys want to share or you have coming up, this is your home now. Please do not hesitate to share it. We'll be happy to work with you and get that information out because it's very important. So thank you both. Give your sister, hugs from Two Mics Up. We really appreciate her being here in spirit today as well.
Of course.
All right, ladies and
it was a
gentlemen,
pleasure.
thank you, Jonathan. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen, another great episode, great conversation. Two Mics Up. You know how we do it this time as we close out. You can follow Two Mics Up online at www.twomicsup.com. You can also follow us on our social media, IG, Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube at Two Mics Up. And if you're still watching this on YouTube, that's cool. You can go ahead and hit that bell down at the bottom so you can be notified about all the latest content coming to you from me here at Two Mics Up. But we are on Mogul TV down there at the bottom. So make sure you check us out Monday nights, 8 p.m. every week. And also check out some of the other shows on Mogul TV, bringing you great content. And like we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, May you stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.
007.